We are starting a week-long series called Cities on Fire, beginning with the mess that has become of Chicago. We're going to have that later on in the show. But first, a look at a major reason why our cities are falling apart: the manufactured war against police, a war created by the far left, Marxist groups like BLM and Antifa, then validated by the press and finally embraced by Democrats. The White House today continued to push to undermine law and order in this country. Attorney General Merrick Garland announcing he's going to be using a closed case as the basis for investigating a police department.
Today, the Justice Department is opening a civil investigation into the Louisville, Jefferson County Metro Government and the Louisville Metro Police Department to determine whether LMPD engages in a pattern or practice of violations of the Constitution or federal law.
Garland is opening this investigation over the death of Breonna Taylor, who was shot and killed when police entered her home during a raid last year. After the Chauvin verdict, Garland is also using the death of George Floyd to investigate the Minneapolis Police Department as well. In the Breonna Taylor case, police officers were not charged in her death. One officer was actually charged with wanton endangerment after a bullet that he fired somehow went through a wall into a neighbor's apartment. But in the actual death of Breonna Taylor, no charges, because Breonna's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, started firing at cops first. It's a little detail you never hear from the BLM protesters, of course. But let's not let those pesky facts stop Merrick Garland from his politically charged investigation. Breonna Taylor's name, along with George Floyd's, were invoked by BLM and Antifa protesters and rioters across the country last summer. Yet Taylor's mom wrote on social media, "I have never personally dealt with BLM Louisville and personally have found them to be a fraud. I've watched y'all raise money on behalf of Breonna's family, who has never done an expletive thing for us, nor have we needed it." Not that you should be surprised. As we've said all along, BLM is a profit center. They couldn't care less about black lives. It's astounding to watch the left try to paint all violent police interactions with the black community as somehow racial. They're exploiting tragedies for political gain. We know that. As you know, there is no real logical evidence for this at all. Police do interact a lot with the black community. It's for a very good reason. The community is responsible for committing more than half the violent crime in this country. Those are just the facts. Usually when police interact with the black community, it's in an effort to protect innocent members of that community from the violent members. We all know this. And the vast, vast majority, well over 99% of police shootings are justified. Although with the rhetoric right now, you would never know that. And now the attention shifts to another police-involved shooting in North Carolina. Elizabeth City, rough neighborhood, has declared a state of emergency tonight. Here's a look at some of the protests from earlier today. This all ahead of the anticipated release of body camera footage in the officer-involved shooting of 42-year-old Andrew Brown Jr. Brown was shot and killed last Wednesday. Police say they were trying to serve a drug warrant. At this point, we don't know the full details. The family was shown video today. They and their attorneys are angry that police are redacting some of the footage before they release it. The family has only been allowed to see about 20 seconds of this body cam video, they claim. Attorneys say that Brown was not a threat to officers and feared for his life.
He finally decides to try to get away, and he backs out, not going towards the officers at all. There was at no time in the 20 seconds that we saw where he was threatening the officers in any kind of way.
Right. That's right.
He was trying to evade being shot.
Yes, that's right.
We'll see. The search warrant said investigators wanted to search the home to prove that Brown was in possession of crack cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. They say he also sold it as well. We're going to wait for the facts and the video before jumping to any conclusions on this. It's probably a good idea. However, it is clear that the Biden administration's obsession with systemic racism is taking a pretty big toll on police officers. The New York Post reporting today more than 5,300 NYPD uniformed officers retired or put in their papers to leave in 2020, a 75% spike from the year before. Well, yeah, when you call cops racist, nobody wants to be a cop. Cops that work in high crime areas in this country have some of the worst jobs imaginable. They are literally society's garbage men, and they risk their lives every single day to do it. And the job they do will never be perfect. Just like the job any of us do will never be perfect. But without them, one thing I can tell you is that the 15,000 or so gun homicides in this country every year will skyrocket. Thankfully, sometimes the common sense voices in this country actually get a podium where liberals are forced to hear them. Here's Atlanta-based filmmaker Tyler Perry in one of the only positive highlights from last night's Oscars.
I refuse to hate someone because they are Mexican or because they are black or white or LGBTQ. I refuse to hate someone because they are a police officer.
And by the way, we're going to have more of the less nice moments, some of the awful moments from that show later on in this broadcast. But what an important message he had there. Very important right now. There have been other prominent black leaders who have gone even further, leaders who know without a confident police force, many violent urban communities quickly, very quickly turn into a bloodbath like we're seeing right now across this country. We wish that more would actually speak the truth. If you really want to save black lives, that's how you would do it. The cancerous liberal agenda fights that common sense every step of the way, and the infection of liberalism is certainly leaving its mark on society. Take a look at this new data out from the Census Bureau. Look at this. California, New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Michigan are all losing a congressional seat as millions flee the blue state gloom of high taxes and dirty, crime-ridden cities. In the meantime, look at this. Red Texas gaining 2 districts. Florida, North Carolina, Montana also all adding a representative. 2 blue states, we should point out, are also adding a congressional district, Colorado and Oregon, but much of that obviously can be attributed to California flight. People getting away from California, a lot of them like to go to those 2 states, Colorado and Oregon. And wait until they see Portland. They're going to have to move all over again.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.